You're watching. You are watching.
You're watching. You guys are watching.
You're watching. Watching Soulful Discussion.
So hi, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good.
All right. So how did our paths cross today? How did you and I just meet right now?
You came up to me while I was just sitting down enjoying the weather.
Absolutely. On this beautiful Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I approached you. What did I approach you about?
If we could have an interview.
Mm-hmm. You remember what the subjects were we're gonna cover?
Spirituality.
Oh man, you forgot already.
Something about that.
Your thoughts about the subject of feet, mental health, and reflexology. Absolutely. So in terms of like when you heard me say we're doing an interview about feet, what were your thoughts about that?
Like literal.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. I mean, it didn't really like maybe it was like the physique of feet or
Okay.
like I don't know.
All right, cool. So we'll get to that point and then we'll get you to talk about it and see what your thoughts are, okay? What about mental health? Anything that you like are invested in terms of like different subjects in mental health or anything like that?
Mental health, I definitely support like care for like mental health. My brother is really into mental health and like suicide prevention.
Nice.
I think it's great.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's good, man. Cause so today we're gonna be talking about like social media, the effects it can have on like depression, anxiety. I'm gonna talk about it, and then I'd like to get you to like give me your thoughts, okay? Once we get there, cool.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. What about reflexology? You said.
I don't know what that is.
I bet you do, and you just probably don't recognize the term. But I'll talk about it, and you can tell me if you know it and what your thoughts are once I give the information, okay?
Okay.
Cool. So let's start with the first question. What are your thoughts about how the world's starting to become more aware of like mental health and like kind of like the different things we're doing about it now?
I think it's really good.
Okay.
It's really important, I think. I think it's actually harmful when that stuff isn't talked about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a good thing. We're making strides in the right direction, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, what I'm hearing from a lot of people is like 15 to like 20 years ago, like if you were to mention like you dealt with anxiety or depression, people would look at you like you were like something's wrong with you. You need to be locked up or something like that. So yeah, it's good that we come a long way. We can discuss it with our friends, our family, you know, hopefully.
Yeah, that's the hope.
Yeah, exactly. In terms of social media, like how do you use social media, and then what are your thoughts about social media?
Oh wow, this is like very social media, especially recently. I've been trying not to use it.
Okay, so you've been unplugging from it mostly.
I still like check it once in a while.
Okay.
But not for as long as I used to.
Okay.
And, like my account, I totally just like tried to declutter it because I just.
That's dope.
It's just like unnecessary.
Okay. Yeah, you don't need to like if it's not something that's like empirical or like a focus of your life, like why do you have it? Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
I don't know, and then it just seems. Of course, it's just everybody wants to share the good sides of their life.
That's so true. Yeah. It's like is that really what goes on 24/7, or is it just you putting on like a show or putting on a mask, basically? Yeah. Exactly. So if there was one thing you could change about social media, right, what would it be?
Honestly, I feel like I do like the fact that on Instagram, like the like count thing is like you can change it so that no one see how many likes you got.
Yeah.
I know like a lot of my friends were so like obsessed over how many likes.
How many likes and things like that, yeah.
Honestly, if somebody really wanted to just like step out of social media, I'm not sure if there are real ways to make social media better.
Okay.
Just like for yourself, just
it's different for everybody, right? It's basically what you're saying. Okay. Cool. So if in terms of things that bring you anxiety, like, and you don't have to go into like depth, but just like maybe more surface level, what are some things that kind of bring you anxiety?
When uncontrollable things happen.
Okay.
And unexpected things are also stressful and
absolutely, like things that you didn't know it was gonna happen that day, and then you're like forced to deal with it. So when you do like encounter those situations, like what are some steps you take to like make sure it doesn't go out of control, like you don't lose yourself like in that?
Yeah, one thing that's really helped me is just like sitting outside and meditating or like reading.
Yeah, absolutely.
Journaling is really helpful.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. All right. So let's get into these questions now. I'm going to be intrigued about how you respond to these. So what are your thoughts about your feet? How do you feel about your feet? You like them, you don't like them, you're indifferent about them, you don't really think about them.
Indifferent.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has beautiful feet. Like,
Okay.
you can go anywhere, like, you can walk. Like,
Yeah.
those are such important things to get through life, and I think that's really beautiful.
Okay.
Something I've been trying to do is, like, ground myself, like,
Ah,
in nature.
nice. Is that part of your meditation? Like when you...
I think so. I think
Okay.
I'm getting more into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you do any tree hugging too?
Ooh, I've never looked into that, but maybe,
Couple of ladies
yeah.
that I've talked to, like who do grounding and like also hugging trees and like focusing on the roots, and like it just makes them feel like
They're
at
just,
ease
like,
and stuff.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Okay, so you said you think everybody has nice feet, and you think that you like your feet as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever received any compliments before about your feet?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
No.
All right. So if you did receive a compliment about that, how would it make you feel? Would you be okay with it? Would you be uneasy about it? How would you feel about it?
It depends on the context.
The context, absolutely.
Yeah, and it also depends on like who's saying it.
Okay.
Like,
So who said? You said it depends on who's saying it. So like if it's a
Yeah.
friend, it's different, and if it's
if
a
it's
stranger,
like
it's different.
Stranger, maybe it would be a little like out of the blue.
Ah, okay.
But like, I don't know. Like, I think girls and guys compliment on each other's like nails, like especially on feet. But like, I don't know. That's like I've never thought of it before. So,
I got you like really having to focus on this stuff now today.
yeah,
Good
that's
questions.
So interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, in terms of like, if you were dating someone or potentially dating someone, what's something that would be a deal breaker for you? Something where you'd be like, can't deal with that.
If they don't have a passion for something,
Ah, nice.
that's a really big one for me.
Okay. Nice.
Because it just feels like I think everybody has a passion, but
You should. You
Yeah.
definitely should.
like everybody has the potential to have a passion.
Exactly.
So, like, when there's someone who doesn't, and it's just like their passion is hanging out with you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. You need time away from that person to like, they can focus on themselves, you can focus on yourself, and then when you come together, you have things to talk about, right? It kind of like enhances the conversation and things like that.
yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. So you mentioned, like you said, if you got a compliment about your feet, you would be okay with it as long as the context was correct. What are things you do like to be complimented about? Like where you would be like, that's okay. I'm okay with that compliment.
Definitely my personality.
Okay.
Or like presence.
Okay,
I think
like that.
those are like the best compliments.
Absolutely, because it's intangible. It's not something that's like focusing on something physical or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. How often do you get pedicures?
Pedicures?
Yeah.
Like rarely.
Okay, is it because like you're kind of in school still, you like more of an affordable thing, or is it more like you just don't really like focus on that?
I just don't really focus on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't really cross my mind. This morning, I actually did my nails though. 'Cause
Okay.
I had a sleepover with some friends, and I found nail, whatever it's called, nail polish.
No polish,
in
whatever
my-
it's called.
in my makeup bag. So I was like, ooh, maybe I'll do that before I go.
Okay, cool, cool. All right, so have you ever heard of a medical pedicure before though?
I haven't.
All right, so it's like when you go see a podiatrist, it's a specialist of the foot. They'll like take a look at your feet, they'll look at your nails to make sure they're growing correctly, your toe alignment to make sure it's correct. They check for dead skin, fungus. They do all the work there with medical grade equipment. What are your thoughts on like seeing somebody like that as opposed to cosmetic pedicures?
I think that's different.
Okay.
That like rings a bell kind of to like medical tattoos.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's like a different reason.
Yeah, absolutely,
for that.
absolutely.
So I
Cool.
think it's good. Yeah.
Nice. How often do you wear open-toe shoes, sandals, flip-flops, things like that?
Not very often.
Okay.
I feel like, yeah, because like going to school, I go to school downtown, so it's like I kind of have to.
You have to be active and constantly moving around, so it's kind of like hard to kind of do that then. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. How often do you go barefoot? Because you just talked about like grounding and things like that. How often do you do it?
I like doing it most of the time when I do meditate. I think it really helps, like feel, like kind of just like get the energies.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
your body.
You might even add tree hugging in there now that you heard about it,
Yeah,
right?
I might look into that. That's really
Cool, cool, dope. All right.
So now, can we see what your feet look like up close? Is that okay?
Sure.
All right, cool.
With my sandals on?
Oh, if you can take your sandals off and then put your feet down. Put them down flat first, like this, so we can see. All right. What size do you wear? 6 and a half.
6.5, yeah.
Does it vary depending on the type of shoe? Like for these, would it be different from like a tennis shoe?
Yeah, I think
okay.
so.
So like a half size up, maybe in tennis shoes?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. Cool. And then let me get you to extend your feet out so we can see the bottom. Okay. And then just toes up. Yeah, there you go. So how are you feeling? We're going through this interview now. I've asked you some questions. We're looking at your feet. How do you feel about it?
I think it's interesting.
Okay.
Like there must be some relation with these topics and feet.
Gonna get to there right now. All right. So first of all, like dealing with this situation, right? You didn't know I was coming today. I didn't know I was gonna run into you. When you deal with situations that come at you like unexpectedly, how do you deal with it? Like what do you do about like coping with it once you're in that situation, right? Like what are some things that you do?
I did mention that like those kinds of things, like
they make you
stress me out a little bit.
Exactly, but I'm saying, but how do you? Because you still like you can't run away from all those situations.
Yeah.
So you're kind of sometimes forced to have to deal with it. So when you do deal with it, how do you get through it?
Right. I don't know. For this case, like I kind of one of my New Year's resolutions was like to say yes to new opportunities.
Okay.
So, or like experiences. So,
Okay.
This was like a yes.
Okay,
like,
cool.
Yeah.
I get it. So like you're trying to put yourself out there more to see like kind of what happens like because of certain situations as opposed to just like closing yourself off from an experience.
Yeah, because I tend to definitely close myself off.
Okay, I get that. That's dope. That's dope. So part of the reason why I started doing this, right? So a lot of people have negative connotations and feelings about the words feet. They hear it, they're like, oh, like, you know, that's so weird or whatever like that. So I started my channel with the thought of like talking about like feet, mental health, reflexology, because I want to like change the narrative around that, like get people to start speaking about it in a more positive way. So a couple people I spoke to today, like they're like, I don't see anything wrong with feet because it's a part of the human anatomy. So like there's nothing weird about it, right? But you'll get other people who are like, nah, I don't like it, it's weird. Or if somebody else likes it, it's weird. But I think that it's important for us to appreciate the things that we have, like something as little as that, right? So kind of what I'm trying to do with my channel, and like by getting women's reactions to that, how they feel in the moment while I'm doing an interview and things like that.
That's so cool.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, and I'm out. So believe it or not, I'm out working on stuff myself because approaching people in the past wasn't something I did. I was always like afraid, or like I just preferred to be, you know, in my own zone. So like I've been working on more of like going out and doing this. I started this last April, and like I've gotten better at it like gradually. So yeah. So every time I go out and do this, like there's a fear that like arises because I'm like, I never know how somebody's gonna react. Somebody might react in a certain way, but I'm just always like, oh, just approach, and if they say no, they say no. If they say yeah, then I keep it going. So
yeah, that's awesome. Good for you.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about reflexology and then we'll wrap it up, okay? So reflexology is about the different pressure points you actually have in your hands and in your feet. And those pressure points and nerve endings, like they correlate to various parts of your body. So through massage, acupuncture, acupressure, you can actually alleviate stress and tension to various parts of your body. So if you're somebody who deals with migraines, there's a portion of your foot to massage to alleviate the tension you're feeling in those moments. There's like if you have a shoulder strain or your legs hurting, you have all these different areas, and it's called like zone therapy basically. So what are your thoughts on like kind of like what reflexology can do from like a holistic standpoint?
I think that's amazing to like learn exactly like what goes in your body.
Yeah.
Like I think that really helps. I had a point in time where I would get a massage like quite often.
Did you recognize a difference? Like
yeah.
That might be something that I think you should think about doing, because like with your meditation and stuff like that, it may add like a more like allow you to be more free and more loose, like in terms of situations when you're presented with situations like you said that are unexpected, like they help you out in those moments a lot more. Yeah,
that's so true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe I'll look into that.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, how ticklish do you tend to be?
I'm very, very ticklish.
Okay. Now what are we talking on a scale of 1 to 10? What are we talking?
Like I would say
an 8?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I have a trick for you. I don't know if when you go get pedicures if you're ticklish, but I have a trick for you. Would you mind if we test it on camera? Is that cool?
Sure.
All right, cool. All right, let me get you to kind of like turn a little bit more this way. All right. And then I'm going to start with the right. I'm going to go from bottom to top. Tell me where it's sensitive at and which foot is more sensitive, okay?
Okay.
All right, so 1, 2, 3, and right in the arch.
Okay.
Right in the arch?
Where's
Yeah.
I
Is
can
it
really
here?
feel it.
So right at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's try the left and tell me if this one is more sensitive. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
This one is more.
I think so.
This one's more. Now I'm gonna get you to try something. You tell me if it's more or less when you do it. Okay. Wiggle your toes. All right. Less.
It is less.
It's
yeah.
less? Let's try the left and see. All right. Less.
Yeah. So.
Do you know why?
No.
So because your muscles are moving, they're in motion, like it won't pick up on the sensation of that. So like if you go get pedicures, if you're ever ticklish during those moments, yeah, give your toes a little wiggle and it'll like kind of alleviate that. Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. So while I have you right here, I want you to do a couple exercises. This is the text like dexterity and like text flexibility. Okay. All right. I'm gonna get you to bend your toes over, make a fist. Tell me if you feel pain or discomfort while you're doing it. Easy to do.
Bend over.
Yeah. Bend your toes over.
Okay.
Easy to do. Hard to do.
Yeah, easy.
Okay. Relax. Spread your toes. Tell me if you feel pain or discomfort while you're doing it. Easy to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say so.
Wiggle your toes for about 10 seconds. Tell me if you feel any pain or discomfort, cramping, anything like that. Easy?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Let's wrap it up.
Okay.
All right. So, in terms of my approach, I walked over, asked you to do the interview. Was it good? Was it bad? What are your thoughts about my approach when I came up?
I thought it was a really nice, like, smooth approach, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how it would have been, like, smoother.
Okay.
To be honest, yeah.
Thank you. I
That was
appreciate
good.
that. And believe it or not, like I just told you, like in these moments, I'm still like dealing with fear, like or whatever like that, because I don't know what the reaction is going to be.
Right.
So I've had people walk away like in the middle of me asking or something like that. So each situation
yeah.
is different, so I never know how it's going to go. So I
Right,
definitely
yeah.
appreciate you for accepting. All right. In terms of the interview from start to finish, did you see how everything was going in the line? Did it make sense to you? Did you learn anything new?
Yeah, I think at the beginning I was like, oh, I wonder how feet relates to mental health.
Yeah.
But I think now that it's like, yeah, it's all coming together.
All together. Yeah.
And like now I kind of want to like do research on like zone
Zone therapy and everything?
therapy.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It'd be dope.
it sounds
Absolutely.
really cool.
So the last thing I'm going to ask, right, from a mental health standpoint, maybe a life lesson you learned, some wise words somebody once said to you that you could say to my channel that might be helpful. It could be anything. Maybe something you heard in the song or something like that.
Honestly, if like, please tell somebody like how you're feeling.
Okay.
Like at least one person. For me, I kept it all in, and that was just
Oh, yeah.
making myself go down even further.
Because this isn't being implosive. Like, you're holding everything in, and at some point, it's going to explode. Yeah.
It's gonna explode, and then your thoughts you can't think clearly. So
Absolutely.
even if it's just one person,
Yeah.
therapist,
Yeah.
of course,
A good friend that you know, somebody like that. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think is really helpful.
That's good. All right. Well, thank you so much. Definitely
Yeah.
appreciate you stopping and helping us out with this. And we hope that you have a great one, okay?
Thank you.
All right.